what's going on, you guys? What's up? My name's Barbarian, and welcome to another commentary. This is going to be a storytime video. I know a lot of you guys really like storytime, and I do try and do them as often as possible, but I don't like to put out stories I don't think are really entertaining, but this one is definitely going to be worth your while. So, a lot of you guys have probably traveled before, whether it be for holidays or spring break or to see family or just going somewhere with your friends, even if it's just a matter of, a 2-hour road trip. You guys probably know exactly what I'm saying when I say that sometimes things don't go exactly like you planned. They aren't always, things don't work out. Let's just say that. And I had a really bad experience with one of the airlines recently that kind of gave me the idea to tell you the story because I've had a lot of things go wrong. I have traveled quite a bit because of this whole YouTube experience. That's something that I think I'll always be thankful for. I have that experience and those memories and all those places I've been. But in all honesty, sometimes it seems like more work than it's worth. So here's what the first story that I have for you guys. UCube was a fantastic event in New York City. It was basically put on in the event in the aftermath of Minorama, and it was put on by the YouTubers, and we got to see all the fans. And I spent basically 2 days in New York City, just absolutely living my dream. I got to see all of you guys, get to sign autographs, get to do all sorts of things like that, and it was great until we had to go home because I brought my family out with me to experience New York City and experience UCube, and I let them stay for another week in New York. I got them the apartment, and I got them, all the touristy information, all that stuff that I don't really care about, and I went back home because I had to work on my trip for out to Seattle to see Zach, and I decided to myself, instead of taking the bus, which had taken about 5 hours going to New York and gave me terrible motion sickness, that I would just book a flight and I'd be able to fly home. It'd take me about, an hour or so. It wasn't too bad. So I figured, yeah, I'll fly out of JFK. Unfortunately for me, I did not pay attention very closely when I was booking my flights because not only is JFK not the only airport in New York City, it's not the default airport on Google Flights. So I booked a flight at LaGuardia, which is apparently 20 miles away from JFK. And if you guys know New York City, 20 miles might as well be 20 days because you're never getting there with traffic. So I messed up my flight as I was booking it in the taxi ride, and I ended up having to rebook the next flight at JFK as soon as I possibly could. Now, this was troublesome for a couple of different reasons. One, the website was down. This is all on United Airlines, which is I'd say most noteworthy for being a terrible airline. It doesn't exactly have a great reputation. So the website was down. I couldn't book a flight on their website, and I'm in a taxi cab heading all the way to JFK. And as it is, I'm already in the car for an hour. So I'm an hour away from my apartment with my family. I know I absolutely have to get the flight today. I can't just wait it out. So I looked it up. I found one that I liked, but that wouldn't let me book it on the site. No problem. I called the United customer service. They said, we can't book it over the phone, but if you just go right up to the kiosk, you'll be very easily, you'll be able to book it very easily. It's simple. So that was pretty easy for me. I figured, hey, why not? I'll do that. We go to the kiosk, and the lady at the kiosk immediately has an attitude. And I'm saying, like, level 10 6th grade girl attitude. It just, the sarcasm meters were off the charts. I couldn't even understand half the things she was saying because she was just, you mean you have to do this? Everything I did, it was a huge issue for her. So I handed her my debit card, and unfortunately for me, I didn't think this through. This was actually a debit card that I have on a joint bank account for my mom because at the time that I made the bank account, I wasn't 18, so my mom's name had to be on the card too. Not a big deal, except for the fact that this lady seemed to think that I was stealing my mom's credit card in order to fly to Boston. When she asked me for my ID, I gave it to her, and we had the same last name, Barberi, and I even had the same address, but she didn't let me use the card because it had my mom's name on it as well as mine. No, I'm not saying that, I don't like that. Maybe she was just trying to protect herself. But the way that she said it when she said, oh, you can't use this, it was just very smug. And in all honesty, it got me really pissed off. So what I did was I ended up paying for it with a different card I had. It was a whole hassle that I had to go through. I really shut her down, though. I gave her, my other card with just my name on it. And I said, is this okay? And of course it was. But she hit me with one of those $75 gate fees or whatever. So I got stuck with a bunch of fees. It cost me a lot more to go home than I was thinking. But the flight was only about 25 minutes. It was actually a great flight. I would highly recommend, if anyone's flying or traveling from New York to Boston, small things like that, just fly. You can find cheap flights if you book them ahead of time and not about a 2-hour, advance notice before the actual flight takes off. That is not what I would recommend you do. The other times that I have been in, let's just say, less than desirable situations with travel is when I went to Los Angeles. And I haven't told anybody this because it just recently happened. When I went to Los Angeles with Zach, we got flown out for Assassin's Creed Unity and we got put up in a hotel room for a couple of days. Burbank, California is fantastic if you have something to do there. If you're just stuck in a hotel room, it really sucks. And by the second day, after the live stream had already happened, we got all our footage. It really sucked because there was literally nothing to do. There was just, watch pay-per-view on the TV or go outside and look at all the nothing we could walk around to. So we decided, you know what, let's just for fun, let me just look and see what the different flights are. What are the different options I have? And I looked on one of the flights and I saw one that was actually very cheap. It was a flight that was taking off in about, an hour and a half, and it wasn't too long. So I figured, hey, maybe I'll think about this flight. This looks like a pretty good one. So I get all the way there and I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe I'll just type in my credit card information. I'll tell Zach, Zach, let's just see how much it would cost in total to fly home tonight. So I'm typing all my information and I'm using one of those third-party sites like Cheapo Air or Travelocity or something similar to that. I'm typing in all my information, clicking to the next page. Okay, here's my birthday. Next page, here's my, my information. Next page. Congratulations, you booked a flight. I didn't really pay attention to how many pages I was nexting, but apparently sometime after I typed in my credit card information, it auto-selected all the other info from my history and booked me the flight, which at this point took off in about an hour. I had to then panic because I was telling Zach's like, we're not going to book the flight because it'll take too long. We'll never get there in time. It takes off in an hour. That's crazy. And I was like, yeah, we won't book it. I'm just going to see how much it is. I'm just curious. And then I booked it, and I only booked one. So Zach immediately started laughing and thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Meanwhile, I panicked and had to throw all my wet clothes because I had washed my clothes the day before, and I had to throw them into my suitcase. Panic as I quickly called an Uber off my phone and ran down the stairs. I didn't even take the elevator because I thought the elevator would take too long. I sprinted down 3 stories of stairs and ran out to the front just in time to meet my Uber driver. And I told him, Bob Hope Airport, and step on it. If I had been at LAX, I would have been absolutely screwed. But luckily, Bob Hope Airport is a very small airport. They have literally no one going in and out. You actually walk onto the plane on the tarmac. You don't actually get any of those, you don't get to go up into one of those little gate things like you might see at Seattle Airport or Logan. But it was very, very interesting, to say the least, to have to panic and literally have 1 hour from the time you booked your flight to the time that it took off. And this flight was not late. I was up in the air by, I'd say, like an hour and 10 minutes from when I booked the flight. It was absolutely the most heart-wrenching thing I have ever done. Not heart-wrenching, I guess gut-wrenching. And to say that that was the worst case or the worst part of it's not true. I thought I was booking a direct flight to Seattle. It turns out I booked a flight with a 3-hour layover in San Francisco at 3 o'clock in the morning. So that was really fun as well. I spent the night in San Francisco Airport. But I also got back home and I, basically got home 8 hours earlier than Zach, I think, and I didn't have to spend the time in the hotel, I guess, but it was still pretty boring, so my plan didn't work out that well. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and before we end it, I want to take a minute to talk to you guys about Opinion Outpost. Opinion Outpost is a website where research companies ask for your opinions on subjects such as food, TV, movies, and even politics. You can earn cash, Amazon gift cards, or even iTunes cards just for sharing your opinions to help improve the ideas and products. Opinion Outpost is free to join, and hundreds of thousands of people have already signed up, and if that's not good enough, every survey you complete automatically gives you one free entry in a $10,000 quarterly prize draw. There's no limit to how many entries you can have, so the more surveys, the better chance you have. If you're interested to learn more, check out the link in my description. Feel free to sign up and earn some cash. But until next time, guys, as always, my name's Barbarian. Peace out.